Well, hello again. This is Bob Rombach and Dan Heinrichs. It's the Bob and Dan Show. We're excited to be with you again. We had such a tremendous first episode. So many people watched and a lot of comments. And we just talked for 25, 26 minutes of geocaching. And I got so many comments like, man, we've been wondering what that was. You helped us figure it out. We can't wait to go out. Nobody went hashtag nerd or anything like that. So super excited about that. And you know, it was kind of since that episode came out, it's been just kind of cruddy weather. So I hope that people still want to do that because it's so much fun. We did go out because we have a consecutive days streak. So I had to go get a few groceries one day, so I just went down to an easy park and grab, is what we call them, and parked on the side of the road. It was a fierce wind. It was sideways snow, but I prevailed, and we kept the streak alive. We haven't found one for today, Danny. So as soon as we're done here, I've got to go up. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. I do not have any kind of consecutive day streak going right now. I've had one in the past, but man, some of those days when you got the horizontal snow and the wind just whipping it's tough to get out there and go find that geocache. So this is definitely the nicest day it's been since we recorded that first episode. I think the day after we got about 5 inches of snow down here at my place. Then it snowed Monday. It snowed Tuesday. I woke up this morning. It was 15 degrees. I'm like, man, is this a jinx to do this show? Or did we just Groundhog Day it and bring back 6 more weeks of winter?
Right.
But we'll give it a go.
Yeah. Right on. We braved it. We haven't found one today, but it's been nuts weather-wise. But it looks like it's going to be clearing up, and it's going to be caching weather. Like we said, alluded to last time, there's nothing's growing. It's easy to see these caches, and it's a nice time to go out because there's no bugs. So there are ticks though. So be ready for that. But we're excited to bring you episode number 2. We've got a little bit of a game plan here to kind of follow up on episode 1, where we just really dove into the website and kind of what geocaching is and that kind of stuff. But now we're gonna look at the app a little bit. And we're also going to talk about what to bring. We also want to feature a couple of things. Let me pull this up real quick here. I don't want that. I don't want that either. I want this, because this is going to show you some of our new friends, new geocaching friends. This is my cousin Keith Rombach and his wonderful family. He just posted this to my timeline like an hour ago and said he watched the first episode and went out and found their first one today. They braved the weather. Look at that. No, he didn't. Do you recognize that place?
No, I don't.
It's a wooded area with a big jar.
You don't see very many of those huge geocaches out there, and that's a great first one to find.
I bet there was all sorts of fun stuff in there. I bet the kids were able to trade it out. Let's see. We also had this was posted by Brenda Alden and they went and found their first ones. I think they had gotten started just a hair before we did our first episode. I think I've got one more up here. Let's see. There it is. It's Ben Sumi and a couple of his girls. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And they got started right after our episode, and they're killing it. We can talk about that in a little bit. We didn't go into the leaderboard last time, but that's a lot of fun. So happy to be able to bring this to other people. Blaze Vitale, if you looked at the comments on We Are Grantsburg, you saw him kind of say a word or two about Wisconsin geocaching, and he's like a legend around here. I know we talked about Nedlow a lot last time, but Blaze is the godfather of geocaching up here. He's got over 3,000 finds. His moniker or handle or whatever we call it is Elf Doctors. So whenever you see a cache placed by Elf Doctors, that's who it is. Dr. Blaze Vitale. He put a whole bunch out. I remember there's a series I haven't looked. It's probably still there. It might be still there, but it was like the SpongeBob series up in Crex Meadows. It was pretty
Mhm.
fun to try to find all those. Do you remember that, Dan?
I do remember them. I haven't gotten all of them, so that's certainly
Yeah,
something to go up and do a good day up on the Crex to go find a few and
yeah.
mix up the Nedlo caches with some classic Elf Doctors
There
finds.
you go. They go retro. Yeah,
Yep.
no. So he's awesome. Hopefully we can have him on some time and talk to him too. That'd be fun to pick his brain. Yeah. So and also by the way, your these our co-hosts here did not talk to each other before we hopped on here. The plaid is completely just because two minds just are melded together, and I don't know.
Well, we'll make a few more of the early '90s references here. I'm sure throughout the whole course of the Bob and Dan show. So why not start it off by bringing the old flannels back?
There you go. There you go. I see you're sporting Brickfield. I think I was wearing a Brickfield shirt yesterday. That's our other good friend, another good friend from high school, Ben Peterson, his wife Nikki run Brickfield. So that's fun too here in Grantsburg. Let's get into it, Danny. Let's talk about what to bring when you go geocaching because this is a good subject and maybe something that people don't really know.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly things you'll pick up along the way, and you'll go and find a geocache, and sometimes you just wish you had something else with you to maybe get the log out of the geocache,
Yes.
or you find a log that's been just soaked in water and you can't really sign it. So what do you do? So yeah, here's my just old school Ziploc bag full of stuff. I don't know how
Ooh.
many times it's been dropped on the ground and kicked and whatnot, and thing just holds up and it keeps everything inside it dry. So that's doing exactly what I want it to do. And one of the things I have in that bag are a bunch of smaller little Ziploc bags. And I bring those with just in case, okay, say the log is getting a little bit dry in a geocache, maybe the bag got ripped that they keep the log in, just swap it out, put a fresh bag in there, and
Hmm.
that'll keep the log dry for the next person that comes by. Bringing paper with too in case the log is full or gone or unsignable, just to kind of roll up a new sheet of paper and throw that in the geocache for other people to sign. Like I won't take the old log out. I
Right.
don't know. I've never signed or never hidden a cache, so I don't know if a cache hider likes to go and go pick the log up to see who's signed it. So I wouldn't take any old logs out, but maybe add another sheet of paper in just in case the other one's unsignable or it's filled up with a whole bunch of log entries.
Hmm. That's fantastic. And when you're when you kind of just did that little thing, it made me realize, and I've known this, but this is really kind of a community, right? Like geocaching is everybody really seems to get along and really wants the activity to, get better and bigger. And,
Mhm.
we treat it's kind of like you're outdoors. We're trying to leave things better than we found it type of a thing, right?
Exactly, exactly. I know one of the acronyms you'll see on some of the caching pages is CITO, or
Hmm.
cash in, trash out. And some people
Yeah.
will bring along like an empty plastic bag, and on their way out to a geocache, they find some old pop cans or trash laying around. They'll just clean it up and bring it out of the woods. And yeah, really
Hmm.
nice thing to do. And to your point, it's cleaning up the world, leaving it a little bit better than when you found it.
Yeah, very good. So, what else do you have in that magic
Yeah, I got a
gallon
couple of
Ziploc?
extra. Yeah, got a couple of extra pens and pencils in there because you never know when a geocache isn't going to have a pen inside of it for you to
Hmm.
sign a log, or the pen's been in there but it's frozen, so now you can't sign anything. So it's kind of nice to have both a pen and a pencil with, and the pencil obviously can't freeze. I
Hmm.
Something I picked up from another geocache a long time ago, and it's still in my bag, is a little pencil sharpener, just one of those little tiny ones.
Oh.
So yeah,
Hmm.
got a couple of older golf pencils in there, and those nice short ones so you can keep them sharp, so you can sign your things. That kind of helps too. But one other big thing that really has come in handy is a tweezers. So
Yes,
if you find some
that's
of
it.
those,
That
yeah, the small geocaches and those logs are
yes.
just stuffed in there. I have no fingernails, so it's like, all right, tweezers, done.
Yep. Well, you are such a pro. We bring a pen and a pencil with us, but you don't know how many times we should have brought tweezers. Like
Yep,
we just need to get that geocaching bag because yeah, there's just the other day there's this micro. They're tiny. They're like this big, but they still have a cache in them. Usually, like the one we found was a magnetic on this. On an overpass, so it's
sure,
hidden, tucked in, but all it had a tiny log in it. And when we say log, for people who didn't join last week, a log is basically like the captain's log. You just log the date and name, like, and
yep.
then put it back in there, just so there. That's part of the game, is logging it physically at the cache and then logging it onto the geocaching.com website via your app. So yeah, I wish we had tweezers, and we do bring a pen with. But yeah, those are some good tips. Tell you what, we will also, maybe we could, Dan, if you could give us a list of all the things that you have
Hey,
in
that's a
there,
great
we
idea.
can. Yeah, we'll put that on the show notes basically, so people have a reference for that, so can help people out that way. Anything else you want to
Certainly.
point out in there?
Yeah, I guess I'm still old school and I'll use a GPS every now and then. Well, most of the time
Oh
to
my
go out.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah, this thing is retro. I don't know if it's the original one I got way, way back in the day, but again, I kind of like using this because if I drop it on a rock, it's gonna
Ah.
bounce and be just fine. And if the screen cracks, I'd rather have the screen crack on this than an iPhone. So, but yeah, this thing's pretty resilient. But one thing I do have in my bag is extra batteries for this thing because
Ah.
this will chew up batteries. So, got to have a few extra batteries with just in case. What else do I
There you
have in
go.
there? Well,
Well, on
mini
that,
flashlight I've gotten there, and that's about. Oh, and then of course all the swag that you'd trade. So any of the items
yeah,
that you would go and put into a geocache after you find it.
yeah. So in geocaching, when you find a cat like my cousin did here, back to that giant one. That's not normal, but you will come across that. That's going to have stuff in it like crazy. We can talk a little bit about some of the things you might find in there a little bit later, but there's always little trinkets like. We have a bag like this, so there's a car and just a little rubber ducky, a shell, an army guy. There's a rock in here for some reason. Don't trade rocks. I don't know why the little rock is in there, but so you'll find that kind of stuff too. So if you want to take something out, you need to put something back in. That's part of the game. Otherwise, it's going to run out of stuff. So do that too. What's the most valuable thing you've ever found in a geocache? Do
Oh
you remember?
boy, that's a good question. So some of these geocaches have what are called trackables inside of them.
Yeah.
And these trackables, you can register them through the geocaching.com site. And
Hmm.
they're kind of neat because people will log the fact that they dropped this trackable into a geocache. Someone else will pick it up and move it to another one. And then you can see this map that shows where a specific trackable has been. And it's amazing how far some of these trackables go. I mean, they'll go thousands and thousands of miles. Like someone may bring one down to Texas, and then that person
Yeah.
from Texas brings it to Florida, and the person from Florida brings it to Portugal, and then it kicks around Europe for a while and makes its way
Yeah.
back to the States. And sometimes they'll go missing, and then all right, that's the end of that trackable. But for the ones that have
Hmm.
a really long run, it looks like wow, they're crisscrossing the whole Earth. So those
Yeah.
are those are the really cool things. I just really enjoy finding those travel bugs, those trackables, and be able to move them along to other spots. How
That
about
is
yourself?
fun. We have a trackable right now. What was it? I can't remember exactly what the thing is right now, but one trackable that we had, and this was a fun one. That was a pair, and we only had one of it. One was a Matchbox car, and the other one, well, they both were, but one was a regular car, and the other was a police car. And I think we ended up with the police car. And what they had done was they set them both in the same cache to begin with, and then they separated, and it was like the police were trying to chase this car around the
Oh,
world. So that was
nice.
kind of a fun one. That was a fun little game. As far as valuable, I think the most valuable was like there. I think there was $1 in one of them. So
Oh,
that's
sure.
just that's the point. Like none of this stuff is um, worth a
Yeah,
lot
like
of money. It's
you're not
just the
going to go
fun
and be
of
able to
it.
retire because you found a whole bunch of geocaches. Like, no, no,
Right.
you'll find a coin every now and then, but
Yeah.
it's more for
Yeah.
the exercise and getting out and yeah, good
Yeah.
camaraderie.
That's absolutely right. So, good stuff. So that's what's in the bag, and we will put a big list or a good list together for you guys, so you can kind of have a good starter pack when you get going. So, and again, when you do get going, we'd love to see a picture. Take a picture like Brenda did. I don't know if you can how well you can see this. Let's see, get her back up there, and put it on our page. Here, there she is. That's been, she's cuter than either one of us, so we'll put her up on the page.
There
That's
you
not
go. That's
Brenda,
a
that's
good
her
decision.
daughter. But thanks. So let's transition. But anyway, yeah, when you start finding stuff, put a picture there. We'd love to share it with our people here, and we'd love to see it. Let's take a look at the geocaching. Um, what are they called? Apps. Here, so on the screen now, you'll see my home screen, and I have no idea where it is on here, so I just usually just go and search. So here we go. I was hoping that would give you an idea of what it looked like, but it's this upper left-hand corner one. That's what it looks like. Okay, and so here we go. This is inside. Hopefully, there's no state secrets here. I don't think there is. Inside my app. So the smiley faces are the ones that we have found. The green ones like this are caches yet to be found. And as you can see, as I zoom out more, we found quite a few in the area, but there's still a ton left in the area. Look at this big cluster here. That's Gandy Dancer Trail around Frederick. A bunch of them in Frederick. Let's see. And then I'll show you. This is where we live. That's the blue dot. Let's see. Okay. I want to show you this one. This is a sad face. That's a DNF. Did not find light plank. And so we logged it as a did not find. And the nice thing is that's a Nedlow hide. He went back out kind of unsolicited and looked for it, and he found that it was missing. So he replaced it. He got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I replaced it, so it was gone. You can either log it or you can go find it." So that was nice of him. He's very good at keeping track and making sure his stuff is well taken care of.
Yeah, and you bring up a really
this,
good point about
yeah,
the do not finds there or did not
yeah,
finds. Like a lot of times you'll just want to log the ones that you found, and you might feel a little embarrassed that the previous 7 people found this cache and I wasn't able
yeah,
to find it. But yeah, the cache owners don't know the conditions of their caches unless people are starting to report them as you didn't
yeah,
find them. And a lot of times, like, yeah, if people don't see a DNF out there, they won't log their own. But if someone has one and
right,
they go out 5 days later and say, "Oh, I'm going to log another did not find," that's a pretty big clue to the cache owner to say there may be something going on with this geocache. Maybe
right,
it's completely missing. Maybe somebody didn't put back exactly where they thought it should have gone back. Maybe now it's 30 or 40 feet off. So it gives
right,
the cache owner a chance to go out there and perform some maintenance on it. And yeah, to your point with Nedlow going out and verifying that it was missing and replacing it back out there, now the cache is out there for everyone to find again. So yeah, pretty
yeah.
important to log those DNFs. It's not fun,
Mm.
but it's something
No,
that it makes the game better.
it does. That's 100% right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how to use this app. Danny, do you have yours open?
I
Because
do have it
I
handy,
can't
yes.
really. Okay, so maybe if you want to talk us through it,
Yeah,
I
so
can
I've
kind
just
of
got
show people what's going on. Go ahead.
Sure. So I've got my app right up around the Grantsburg area as well. And like you had said, Bob, once you zoom into a certain spot, it'll show all the caches that you haven't found. There's a filter you can put on to filter out all the ones that you have found. So if you've
Mm-hmm.
gotten a lot of them in a specific area and you just want to get all the yellow smiley faces out of there, up in
Mm-hmm.
the upper part of the page, there's a funnel. And if you tap on that funnel, there's a switch that you can say, hide my finds. And if you flip that to hide my finds, then those smiley faces go away. You can also do some other filtering, like to say, show me all the really, really hard difficulty ones or the easy difficulty ones, and it will take out
Sure.
those ones that say, let's say you don't want to show the difficulty 3 and higher. You can filter those out. You can filter
Okay.
out the different sizes and types. That there's a few different options here right on this geocaching app that you can go and apply the filters to, and it'll give you a smaller set of geocaches to go out and get. It will also show those ones like that you have logged as a do not find. So if you're in the
Hmm.
area and you can tap that cache again and see maybe someone has found it, maybe I can give this one another shot here, and to go for
Right on.
that. And yeah, the app is great because you could just zoom out and go to a
Hmm.
different point in the world and then zoom back
Yeah.
in and just see what's out there. So if you
Ah,
figure, hey, I'm going to be in Eau Claire this weekend, oh, let's just zoom
sure.
over to Eau Claire, see what kind of stuff is out there, and maybe even it is just picking the gas station to go get gas on the way home. It's like, well, I'm going to get the
Yeah.
one that has a geocache right outside of it, so I can get one down in Eau Claire. And that's a great thing about this app, that you can just have these millions of geocaches at your fingertips.
It's so great. It's so much fun. And I just went into that a little bit. And now we can see also, if you're down in Eau Claire, you see all these question marks and all these orange ones and with the green ones. We will go over what some of those are. There's an earth cache down there, it looks like. So we'll kind of get to explaining what those are in a little bit, but you'll figure it out too. You go, we figured it out, you can figure it out. But we'll talk about it too. It's a lot of fun. Those multi caches, those orange ones, those can be really fun. A lot of times there's a puzzle that goes along with them, so makes things interesting. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, anything else?
my
Yeah.
boys love those multi caches because there are the puzzles there. Like an example one might be, you're going to go to the first phase and there's going to be some sign there and say, okay, what's the final digit of the year that's on this sign
Hmm.
is going to be the final digit of the decimal degrees of longitude. So you'd go there and you'd
Yeah.
fill that in. And so then it'll say, oh, stage 2 is now at blah, 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 0.006 instead of 0.00A. So now you know where to go and go
Yes.
pick up stage 2. And those can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yes. There's so much fun. Um, let's do this. Let's go into a cache. I'll just pick one kind of randomly around my house. I'll pick the one that's closest to me that I haven't found here. It's called M/Y. MY. That's, I'm sure, referring to MY Road, which connects M and Y, because we get creative around here when we name our streets. So I'm inside here. I'm going to take this and make it the only thing on the screen. There we go. So this is inside a typical cache. This is what you're going to see most of the time. Looking through here, you can see it's a 2 difficult, a 2 terrain, and a micro. You can see that the first little, I don't know, it looks like the bars on a cell phone. The first one is done. That's the smallest size, and it can go all the way up to large. And then there's a question mark sometimes where it's a kind of a mystery. This one was placed by Nedlow. That's right in the middle there. A hint. Go to the hint. Bison. That's an interesting hint. Sometimes it's like hanging. Sometimes it says like in a stump. So if you want to play like a pro like Dan, don't look at the hint unless you absolutely need to. If you're like us, where there are 4 people out of 6 with a phone and have the app up and it's super competitive to try to find the thing first, go ahead and get that hint because it'll help you win. It is chaos. The rock van is nuts. When we pull up, there's fighting, there's biting, it's all in good fun though, of course. When we go down these
No holds
tenth of a
barred. Love
mile
it.
ones, exactly. Sometimes they're, like the Gandy Dancer has them about a tenth of a mile away. The kids will just run to the next one to try to find it, and dear old dad who got them all hooked on this has to drive the Rombach van down the road. So I never get any. Anyway, so I'm not bitter, Dan. Don't worry. Let's see What else? Okay, description. You can go into there. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's interesting. This one has a photo of a major, looks like a 10-lane road with an 8-lane road intersection. I think it's making fun of MY's intersection. I don't know.
Nice.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll see when we go find it. And then activity. This is a good one to find. I like to check. Oh, look at this! I didn't even know this, Dan. You're the second one on here. Well, you were up here like last week, and oh no, that's last month.
No, last
Anyway.
month. Yep.
Okay, so
that's
let's
the
take a look.
closest one that you haven't found, huh?
It is.
That's a quick pop down the road for you.
Well, we're strategically trying to keep some that are pretty close, so that
this could be your streak extender right here.
That's exactly right. So it's like, okay, sideways, snow again. We can just quick go down to Y Road, grab it, get home, and have some hot chocolate type of thing. So that's the idea. That'll run its course pretty quick. But anyway, let's see what Dan said on. This was March 14th when we got things started with the kind of the quarantine. So he says, in sports. Well, it's 1941, hashtag 1941. Is that your find number?
Yeah, that's the find number.
Okay, because I remember last week we did something and you had it hashtag 1987. Did you vary from that, or was that really 1987?
No, so part of my nerdy little shtick with the geo sports, like to put the little sports blurb for the day out there. So since there's no sports going on, it's like, all right, you got to throw something from the past. Well, my numbers are right around 1980s, so let's just talk about all the World Series from the corresponding year. Yep. Gosh. So last week was like 1981 through 1990. So the next one I find, Bob, you'll like that log too. Since I've
because we 91.
I've watched a couple of those games over the last 2 weeks.
That's going to be great. I don't want to see what happens when you get to 1998. That's still a sore year for me.
We won't talk football.
No, let's not do that. All right, we'll talk football in a later episode. So, what do you say? In sports, the COVID-19 pandemic has shut down the sports world, leaving people to conjecture how a tournament would have played out or wonder when a professional season will begin again. That's awesome. You're so good at this, Dan. I love reading your stuff. I'm not going to read it because I think people would enjoy reading those and probably not enjoy me reading it too much. But that's really cool. I'm glad I found one that you were right up on top. So you're at 990. Is that right?
Yep.
Or 1989?
Right
what was it? Okay, 1990. So you're going to do a video, right? For your 2000th. We've got to have that.
Yeah, one good day I can maybe get to 2000, but yeah, you got to plan this one out here. So when we talked about what's in your bag, and this may be something for a little bit later on when you think I'm going to get to a milestone geocache like number 100 or 250 or 2000. It's like, okay, I want to get the big one like you had shown earlier, something that's just huge that I can really hold up over my head like I'm a conquering hero or something. But I mean, if it ends up being a little thumbtack under a park bench, then so be it. I mean, that counts just the same.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Fun stuff. Let's go through the rest of this. There's not. Sometimes this is good to take notice of the attributes. You can tap in there. There's all sorts of little icons with explanations. This one's pretty simply just dogs allowed. You'll see. I mean, there's probably at least 100 little icons like that might mean different things. And sometimes it's like, there might be thorns, but he doesn't put that there'll be thorns or ticks or whatever. But those are, or poison ivy. Always be on the lookout for poison ivy, even if it doesn't say that in the attributes. But that's something to pay attention to. We talked about trackables. This one doesn't have a trackable. Danny talked about that earlier. And then waypoints. Danny, what's a waypoint here?
Yeah, a waypoint would be like a secondary coordinate. For example, if there's a spot that is the best spot to park your car before going to get the hike in to go get a geocache, they may give you a waypoint to say, here's a good parking spot. And then you'll see, it's a 0.3 mile walk back to the geocache. Or You can make your own waypoints too. At least I know I've done on my old trusty old school GPS where, all right, as soon as I park somewhere, just pop a waypoint and off you go. So then you can see,
That
okay,
makes sense.
I'm getting a little bit farther away from my car than I want to be because I know I got to walk all the way back. So tell me, all right, I got a mile to walk back. Do I really want to go another quarter mile down the trail to get another geocache, then walk a mile and a quarter back? So making those waypoints can really be helpful to just kind of the overall planning of how to go grab a geocache or how to best get back.
Right on. Oh, that's good. And you guys can see on the screen here, all you have to do is hit that plus and put in your own waypoint, and then you can just tap your current location. You can tap your current location and add it. I'm not going to do that right now because it wouldn't make any sense. But so there you go. That's kind of what that is. And then the part that you'll use a lot too is these green buttons on top, the navigate and the log. So to navigate shows that I am 2.9 miles away. So you can use that to drive, but you see that car in the upper kind of ribbon there. Just tap the car, pop it into your Google Maps, and away you go. It'll get you started. I have a little car icon. I'm going to get rid of that, by the way. It always gets messed up. There we go. Shows that it's a 6-minute drive for me. And then once you get to it, you just can close that out. Go back to the geocaching deal. Once you get close, there's that compass icon at the top right next to the car, and you can use the compass. And when you turn, like I'm turning my phone right now, that's why the compass is turning. It'll point you right to where the geocache is. Now, you're going to be in the woods. A lot of times that's going to bounce around. You can see right now I'm inside my house, so it's like plus or minus 16 feet, but I've seen it plus or minus, well over 50 feet. So, you kind of have to use the other clues because you'll see, like if I zoom in here, you can kind of see where that is on MY Road. Actually, it should be like this there. So you can see, oh, okay, well, it's right off the road, but it's not right at the intersection. You can kind of see, okay, it must be right in the beginning of the tree line there. And then, so if your GPS is kind of bouncing around, that's how I do it. How does a pro do it when your GPS is bouncing like that?
Yeah, a lot of times you'll have to go and look at some logs to help out too. Like,
yes.
You may say that, a lot of signal bounce because you're in the woods or there's power lines above, and you may not get that accurate reading on your phone. And like you mentioned, the plus minus 16 feet on your phone. So I think the phones, they get accurate to within 16 feet or 5 meters. And this guy, the handheld, this will get you within 3 feet. So the accuracy is a little bit better on the handheld GPSs than on the phones. And I found, like, once you get the signal lock with the handheld GPS, this will keep the signal locked on when you're in the woods a little bit better than a phone would. And not to say that it's infallible. It'll bounce around some if you're in the woods, but it seems to get you a little closer to that 0 point than a phone would.
So I would say if you're actually going to hide a cache, those for sure, instead of your phone. Yeah. Neither of us have hidden any caches. Maybe we'll do a Bob and Dan show cache together once we can.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Get within 6 feet of each other. All right, yeah, let's do it. Okay, and then he was talking about the log, which is, you see where the navigate button is, the log button here. Actually, no, that's not what I want. I want to see the activity and where we were. So, here's one from let's see, September 25th last year. It says, caught by Muggle landowner. What's a Muggle, man?
The old Harry Potter term for...
Yes, well, this kind of
Harry Potter
got popular on... Yeah, it is a Harry Potter term.
Yeah, because in Harry Potter, the Muggles were people that didn't use magic, right?
Right, so yeah,
so they kind of go about their lives oblivious to the fact that there's wizards and everything around them. So it lends itself to geocaching a little bit because there's people that don't realize there's 2.5 or whatever million geocaches out there just kind of randomly hidden around. So people may think, oh, why is that group of 6 people digging around that pine tree. Like, oh, like someone who knows geocaching is saying, oh yeah, he's hunting the geocache in there.
Yep, that's right. I don't know how many times I've just been like on the side of the road looking at a bridge or in some trees, like, what do they think of? I hope they don't. I hope if they do recognize me, they know geocaching, but if they don't, they're gonna be like, that Rombach, he's crazy. But that's fine. So anyway, this one's the one that I have pulled up is probably a pretty simple one to find. But a lot of times, yeah, you will get some hint. Now, when you leave a log, when you leave your log after you find it, it's important to not be overtly helpful. Like, don't tell people where it is. Because people do check the logs. It's fun to see who's found it and all that. And sometimes they're looking for another, like maybe a bigger hint than what was left. But we never want to like, come out and say where it is. That's a spoiler alert. Nobody like you.
yeah. And you can kind of lead them into things instead of outright saying like, I found this one by moving this piece of bark from the tree stump.
Yeah.
You could say things like, oh, I found out that this one really wouldn't be very winter friendly. That'd be code for, well, you wouldn't find it in a foot of snow because it's on the ground. So you're saying it's on the ground without saying it's on the ground. Right.
Yes. I don't think I'm going to be able to find one on the fly but that's a really good, well, let's see here. Maybe this one would help. So the top one here says, it looks like a wire is broke. Thanks for the geocache. So maybe that one's just a little bit, maybe it fell, or I don't know. You could think of a lot of things once you get into that area. Oh, the wire fell. Oh, there's a wire, but I don't see the cache. I wonder to like look around then. So that's the way to be helpful. Shout out to 674 Sky Guy who found it a couple weeks ago. So they're actually a week ago. Anyway, so that's the app. I think that's about it. And then when you get done, you can hit that log, and then this is the menu that comes up. Found it, did not find DNF, and then write note. So sometimes we will have found it, and I will still write a note to the cache owner saying, hey, the log is soaked. You might need a new one, something like that, just to let the cache or whoever hit it, let them know, just communicate with them. I know they appreciate that. So I'm not going to log that one because I did not find that one yet. So we're going to back out of there. So I think I think we went through the app pretty well. I mean, just explore it. There's lists. I've got Nedlow's toughest hides here at the top. These are 3s and 3s. So terrain 3 and hide is 3 or whatever. Here's FLWA. This was Fish Lake Wildlife area. So we went and did that. That's before we recorded the first one, and I got all these smiley faces. So we cleared that one out. Got 25 that day, but they were all pretty close together. So it was an easy day of finding caches. So there's lots of stuff on the app. You just go through it and kind of look through it, and you can figure a lot of that out. But I think we covered kind of the 80% of it that people would need to get started. Wouldn't you say, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. And then for the rest of it, yeah, just go around, have a play at it, just have some fun, just move your map to a few different locations, see what's out there, maybe play with the list. And you could go to your profile page right at the front page of the app over I think it's the leftmost option at the bottom bar. So you can see how many you've found. I think it logs how many trackables you've moved, and maybe a couple other things on there too. But it's just kind of fun to poke around and just see what's out there.
That's right. One last thing before we go. I know when we got started, when we kicked this off last week, I said Danny always beats me in everything. I gotta show them this here. I'm gonna take Miss Alden down here. Oh, cripes all Friday. Oh my gosh. Learn how to.
Well, let's see. Okay, I was going to say if you can't prove it, it didn't happen, but it looks like you're on track
happening
now.
It's happening. There's nothing you can do to stop it, Dan. Here we go. So, and I gotta give Dan credit because I didn't even know about this before we talked before the show today. But this is back on geocaching.com. This is my account Don't steal things. I don't know if there's anything you can steal, but there's a leaderboard over here on the left-hand side. So here's the leaderboard. Look at this. Okay, so this is the current week, and these are my friends. I only have 4 other friends, so and one is my parents. One is Dan, but Ben Sumi, who we just showed the picture of, is winning this week. I have 21 points. He has 35. He's killing it. He's out there killing it. So congratulations, Ben. I'm coming for you, though. Dan has been apparently doing too much Netflixing and chilling or something. I don't know what's going on with him.
Let's take a look at this week, that's for sure.
Oh, gosh. So look at this, though. Danny pointed this out to me. Oh, my gosh. With that 25 cash day, just absolutely destroyed him. Usually our competitions are pretty close, 1 or 2 points, but just thought we should end on that.
I know. I thought my 111 was feeling pretty good after last week.
Good.
At 644, that's getting after it. That's doing some good work. That's taking advantage of the nice weather we had Saturday to go rack those up. Yes.
And you know what? It's going to be really nice starting when we launch this one. It should be nice that day, and I think spring's coming. If you believe the extended forecast, it's happening. And I gotta say, here's some pending friend requests. So if you're watching and you're on this list, you gotta accept my friendship. That's all we have in this quarantine. So, and then we can all play together, and we can all beat Geosports. Because he's just given up on it. He's at 1990 and he's not going to do anymore. All right, that was fun, Dan. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to? You have any idea how long this episode is? Take a wild guess.
35 minutes.
Every time we go into these, we're like, okay, we should do 15 to 20 minutes. We're at 41 and a half minutes.
Nice. You can find about 15 geocaches in 41 minutes if you're really, really active.
That's right. So we will call this one quits. We've got other stuff to talk about next time, but I think you got a really good overview of the app and what to bring. And we're so glad that a lot of people are loving this, and we're going to keep doing it at least for a little while, and then who knows what this will morph into. But as you can tell, Dan's awesome. We have a lot of fun together, and this is gonna be a lot of fun. So, any parting shots there, Dan?
Well, I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit of retribution from that shellacking last week in the leaderboard, and maybe next week we'll pop the leaderboard and see how it goes.
Oh, all right, here we go.
Thanks everyone for joining on the show today. I'll definitely post that what's in the bag list out there on the Facebook page so you can see what I've got. If you've got other ideas that you put in your bag, please do share, because love to see what everyone else is carrying when they head off into the woods. Yeah, that's fun. So share that with us. Share a picture of your first find or a fun find. Don't give away where you were, but we would love to celebrate with you and just have some fun with you guys. So that's going to wrap it up for Dan Heinrichs. My name is Bob Rombach. Have a great day, and we'll see you out at a distance geocaching this week. See you later.